sometimes I can just be a bonehead. And it's a mistake that I made many years ago when I was part-time doing this stuff, but should have remembered why I don't sell this one particular item. So I'm going to talk to you about that on the other side. So without any further ado, let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is John from Flippin' Ain't Easy. And this is a shorter video. Just wanted to touch base with you guys and kind of talk about this subject that I mentioned in the intro, and that is me being just a bonehead. I'll just put it out there like that. Bottom line is, this one particular item, this type of item, I remember selling like 5 years ago when I did it part-time. I, find one here, find one there, and just kind of sell it. And I never really had much success with this type of item. Not that I wasn't able to sell this item, but I have a higher rate of returns with this particular kind of electronic item, and that is printers. And so I've been doing the Goodwill thing, and they've had some pretty good deals on printers. And it started off pretty good. I found that HP printer. I paid $49.99. Yeah, it's kind of high for Goodwill as far as I'm concerned. But it had, it was in an HP box. It turned out it wasn't the printer that was on the outside of the box, but the printer still sold for like $160. It was a different model laser multifunction printer, and it was in sweet condition, and the mistake I made at the time is I didn't match up the model number on the printer with the box. I kind of looked in the box and, with the return policy, just made sure it was all there. It looked pretty good, but I didn't really bother doing much more than that because I had a 7-day return policy if there was something wrong with the unit. So got it home, unboxed it, and realized this isn't the same one that's on the box, which was a $300-400 printer on eBay. Actually, I think retail was like $5 or $6. And so that kind of tempered my excitement a little bit, but this item was still selling for like $150, $160 on eBay. But I realized at that time that, and I still have the box here, even though I sold that printer, I had to buy a bigger box and pad it up really good and make sure that, you have enough clearance between the unit and the sides of the box, and you make sure you fill that space with lots of different kind of padding that you can use, because I didn't want to be in a position where I was shipping it in this box and try as I might try to make it work, and the unit arrives broken. Thankfully, worked out great, and I had no problems with it. Knock on wood, it's been like 3 weeks, haven't heard anything from them, so I'm assuming that everything's fine with that printer. So I go back to Goodwill and I buy more, thinking that, hey, they have that 7-day return policy, bring it home, test it out. No, I don't have all the different types of ink to really thoroughly test it, nor am I going to go in and buy ink if this particular printer just doesn't have or is out of ink. But I buy these printers and I flip them. So I bought about 5 different printers since that first successful one I told you about. And so this one brother printer, it's packaged up well. The ink is out. It's when you run the printer, it shows you that, hey, it wants to run, but the ink levels are basically depleted. So that's what was in the listing. We shipped it out. Sells for like $90 or whatever. We shipped it out and just got a return request yesterday stating that it's not accepting the yellow color cartridge and therefore it won't print. Now, I can't imagine what that is. Being that I didn't have my own yellow ink to test it with here, it's hard to understand. It wasn't giving me an error message like that before. It just said that all the ink was out. So I doubt that had to do with shipping or anything like that. It was just maybe a bad unit. So they're returning that back. But no more than a day later, this evening, I'm out at bowling. Of course, I can't do a whole lot. I have my cell phone doing the bowling league thing, and get this message from a buyer. Not a return request, but a message from the buyer with some photos saying that sadly they received this printer, and it was an HP 8600 Office Jet, and I think I sold it for like $119 plus the cost of shipping from Vegas to San Francisco. So it's not all that much. It's like 25 bucks to ship it. Not that bad by UPS ground. And she says that, you know, it arrived. It looks like it got slammed down because the bottom of the unit was just shifted, like it broke. And there was nothing wrong with this printer. It was in great shape. And I printed a test page. It had ink in it when I got it. I spent $5.99 for it at Goodwill. Now, it didn't have a cord. And of course, I have plenty of those cords here, the rounded 2-prong plug. And fired right up. Display looked great. Ran the test print, worked great. It had only like 450 pages printed on the life of the printer, so it was quite a good printer. And it's sad that, you know, she reported that this printer was all broken up. She provided these photos, and I'm more apt to believe a customer when they say there's a problem with your item when they can provide a photo. I mean, it's unlikely that they dropped their old unit down the stairs and it's all broken up and they're taking a photo of it and swapping it out, even though you and I both know that that's how some customers roll. But based on the fact that she reached out, she didn't open a return and stop communicating with me. The fact is she started a communication with me. We went back and forth. And, you know, I told her, I said, well, it looks like I'm gonna have to send you a return label. I mean, I don't know what you know, I could have done to prevent this. It looks like UPS just threw it off the side of the plane onto the tarmac. And this is the thing that I had forgotten back in the day, like 5 years ago, why I stopped buying printers altogether. Number one, of course, we don't have the ink lying around for all these different model printers, so we really can't thoroughly test out the unit and maybe understand why that unit is up for sale at a yard sale, why it's been turned into Goodwill for a donation. Maybe, just maybe, there's a problem with the printing head. Maybe it's not printing a clear page. Maybe there's a lot of different things that's going on inside that beautiful case, and it might be just in pristine condition, that printer. But, you know, by the time that buyer gets it, they're putting that new ink cartridge in and it's not responding the way they had hoped. And of course, that all leads to higher returns. And what I'm finding out here with these situations is, at least this latter situation I told you about, any drop, fall, throw, it can definitely damage not necessarily the outer part of that printer, but there's a lot of small internal components inside these printers. And it's shipping a printer is just really not ideal. I mean, they do it all the time. You buy a printer directly from HP, your brother or whatnot, they're going to ship it to you and it's going to be padded in styrofoam. But, you know, a couple blows to that box, something's got to take the brunt of the impact. And sometimes the internal packaging or the internal components of that printer can definitely take a hit. And I forgot the many mishaps that I had buying used printers and reselling them. And it just wasn't worth what I was getting in return. Now, if I find a $10 printer, like this $5.99 printer, the one I just sold for $5.99, sold for $119. I mean, I suppose I can't pass that up again. But here's the kind of funny thing about this particular return with this lady. I told her, I said, no problem, I can send you a return label. And she tells me, okay, please send me a USPS label because I don't drive and I don't have a way to get this package to UPS. So that presents a problem because, as you and I both know, this is a 32-pound printer. I think the dimensions are like 22 by 20 box by like, I think it's by like 15. It's a pretty good sized box. And I can tell you right now, even though I'm shipping it to the next state, USPS, if I try to ship that box or give that lady a return label, it's going to cost every bit of 40 or 50 bucks, something that heavy and that big. And, you know, here's the deal. She paid 25 bucks for a UPS label to have that shipped to her. And I don't think, and you know, as bad as I feel how this was handled, I don't think I did anything wrong. I have bad luck, I guess. But I don't think that I should have to be on the hook for her lack of an automobile and pay almost double for a return label. And then she was sending me messages all night. I'm trying to bowl, and and here she is. She's calling me buddy, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So when you have a conversation with somebody, buddy could be one of two things. Hey, buddy, how you doing today? And or you better make this right, buddy. It's like, wait, how is she meaning the term buddy? Is it a nice buddy? Is it a kind of detrimental buddy? I don't want to be anybody to her. I just want to resolve this issue, and I don't want to pay double for a return label. And then she comes back with, if you do have it sent back by UPS ground, you can have them arrange a pickup, and it'll only cost you $12. Well, that ain't my problem either. Unfortunately, when I have to return an item, I have to go to UPS, and thankfully it's right across the street, but not everyone has that particular setup. I mean, some people might have to drive 2, 3, 4, or 5 miles. You don't have a car. That's not my problem. What happens if you run out of milk? You're going to have to pay a fee to have that milk delivered to you. That's the cost of you not having a car, I suppose. But I just want everyone's opinion out there. I want to know, if you had a return request on a large item and the buyer comes at you and says, look, you have to send it USPS because I don't have a car. And yes, they can come to my house and pick it up for a $12 fee. Are you guys going to foot the bill as a seller for that $12 fee? I want to hear your comments down below. Let me know what you would do. I just kind of feel like, you know what? Hey, you don't have a car. You're not spending $6, $7, $8 a gallon like we either are or potentially will be paying. So good for you. But at the same time, I shouldn't have to pay a $12 pickup fee to UPS, nor should I have to pay double for a USPS return label. So I just thought I'd share this last couple days with you. Lesson learned, and it's one of those things where, if you learn a lesson, you should learn from it and not repeat the mistakes. And that's the whole thing. It's good to make mistakes in this business, but you shouldn't get into the habit of repeating those mistakes, even though it's years down the road. But I do know this: unless I find a great deal, am I going to pass up that $5.99 HP printer for something I can flip for $119? It's going to be tough. I don't think I'm going to pass on those deals. But, if I come across another printer that I pick up for $10, $15, and maybe the return is only $50, $60, maybe $70, maybe $80. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do that. It's just, I try to minimize my returns. My returns are really high lately in that one category, and that's computers and printers, computer components or whatever. So I don't like that, and I don't want to pay. I'm not interested in paying another 6% on other computer-related things that I like to sell. So because of that too, I'm going to back off most of the printers in the future. So guys, again, do me a favor, comment down below. Want your ideas on what I talked about. Also, give me some ideas on some things that you want me to talk about on the next live stream, because I like to come into the live streams that I have with you guys with some topics. I hate doing a live stream, not having a lot of substance to talk about and relying on you guys to provide the questions. It's kind of lazy anytime a host does that, and I don't want to be that guy. So please help me provide content that you want to talk about and put that down below. So now it's your turn to interact with this video. If you enjoyed the content, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit that notification bell, because I plan on going live pretty soon, and I want you to be there, and I want you to be notified when it happens. So guys, picking the right stuff to sell for many reasons, even though you may make a profit off of it, you still may have the headache that you definitely want to avoid on something large like a printer. And these are all just more examples of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have a great weekend, and we will talk to you very soon.